Femke Bol. She is 26 years old, one of the greatest 400 meters hurdlers on the planet, 2 individual world titles, 4 Olympic medals, an indoor world record. Then she walked away from all of it. She said she wanted to run the 800 meters instead. Nobody knew if this was genius or madness. Femke Bol was born on February 23, 2000, in Amersfoort, a Dutch city sitting between Amsterdam and Utrecht. She is one of 2 children. Her brother introduced her to athletics when she was still a young girl, and she followed him to the local track simply because it looked fun. That decision changed everything. As a child, Bol actually practiced judo for a year on her doctor's orders. She had broken her arm twice, and the doctor believed judo would teach her how to fall safely. By her own admission, she was terrible at it. She returned to the track. At 14, she transferred to a local club called AV Altus, where a coach immediately spotted her potential in longer sprint distances. By 15, she was winning Dutch age group titles in the 400 meters and competing at her first international championship in Tbilisi, Georgia. She did not advance past her opening heat. She stored that experience and kept building. In 2019, her coach suggested she add the hurdles. It felt natural from the first session. She won the European Under-20 hurdles title in Borås, Sweden that same summer. A few months later, she qualified for the 2019 World Athletics Championships in Doha, reaching the semi-finals. She was 19 years old and had been hurdling competitively for only a matter of months. When a global pandemic arrived in 2020 and forced athletes off tracks entirely, Bol trained on forest paths and uneven fields. She came back to competition and broke the Dutch 400 meters hurdles record in her very first race. The wind reading was illegal, so the time could not be ratified. She did not care. The speed was real. By 2021, Femke Bol was not a prospect anymore. She was the event. She went unbeaten in every 400-meter race she entered indoors and returned outdoors to win 6 straight hurdles competitions. At the Tokyo Olympics, she won bronze in the 400 meters hurdles in a European record of 52.03 seconds, finishing behind 2 Americans who were already considered legends at the event. Bol was 21. She took bronze and went home knowing she would be back. At the Munich European Championships in 2022, she did something no woman had ever done at a major championship. She won the 400 meters flat, the 400 meters hurdles, and anchored the Dutch relay team to gold, 3 titles, all in 1 lap of the track. The athletics world started running out of words to describe her. In early 2023, she broke an indoor 400 meters world record that had stood since 1982, running 49.26 seconds at the Dutch Nationals. Jarmila Kratochvilova had set that record 41 years earlier. Bol wiped it out like it had never existed. Then came Budapest. In the mixed relay final at the 2023 World Athletics Championships, Bol fell face first on the track within meters of the finish line and lost the relay baton, costing the Netherlands a medal they were about to win. It was one of the most painful moments in Dutch athletics history. 3 days later, she came back and won her first individual world title in the 400 meters hurdles. On the final night, she anchored the women's relay team to gold from behind. Sports journalists called it the fall and rise of Femke Bol. The contrast was so stark it barely seemed real. By 2024, she lowered the 400 meters indoor world record a second time to 49.17 seconds and won Olympic gold in the mixed relay in Paris. At the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, she defended her hurdles title in 51.54 seconds, finishing half a second ahead of the field. She went undefeated in her event for the entire year. She had accumulated 30 Diamond League victories, 5 European gold medals, and more World Championship hardware than most athletes collect across an entire career. She had won everything, and she still wanted more. 21 days after defending her world title in Tokyo, Femke Bol posted a statement that sent the athletics world sideways. She was leaving the 400 meters hurdles. She was switching to the 800 meters, doubling her race distance, trading barriers for pack running, entering a completely different physiological territory. Running the 400 meters hurdles has brought me dreams I didn't even dare to dream about, she wrote. But I still have big dreams. This next one won't be easy, it's uncertain. It will bring new obstacles. And even though they won't be hurdles, I'm ready to give it my all. What most people did not know, Bol had first asked her coach Laurent Muley to make the switch a full year earlier, after the Paris 2024 Olympics. Muley said no. He believed she had more to give in the hurdles and convinced her to stay one more season. She stayed. She went undefeated. She won the world title again. Then Muley agreed. The timing was right. The gap between a 400 meters hurdler and an 800 meters runner is not simply a question of extra distance. The 400 meters hurdles is an anaerobic event, a sprint that taxes the same fast-twitch energy system as a flat 400 with 10 barriers to clear along the way. The 800-meter demands aerobic capacity, tactical intelligence in a pack, the ability to regulate effort across 2 full laps, and a finishing kick while already running at the edge of collapse. Bol's weekly training volume rose to roughly 40 to 55 kilometers per week, a dramatic increase from the load typical of a sprint hurdler. She spent months at altitude in Potchefstroom, South Africa, through November, December, and January, rebuilding her body's aerobic engine. Keely Hodgkinson, the British Olympic 800 meters champion, saw the announcement and commented publicly, "Can't wait to share the start line." 5 words. Every middle-distance runner on the planet understood exactly what they meant. On February 8, 2026, Bol lined up at the 800 meters at a World Athletics Indoor Tour meet in Metz, France. Cameras crowded the start. Fans were on their feet. British commentator Tim Hutchings called the moment truly historic, before the race had even begun. She was in lane 5. The women around her were established middle-distance runners, all with personal bests inside 2 minutes. Bol had never raced 800 meters professionally. Her last serious attempt at the distance had been as a 16-year-old in 2017, when she ran 2 minutes and 19 seconds. She ran the first 400 meters in 56.66 seconds, just under the pace she had requested from the pacer. She maintained her rhythm through the third 200 meters, the segment where many racers begin to tighten and lose form. When the bell rang for the final lap, she held. She crossed the line in 1 minute 59.07 seconds. She had broken the Dutch indoor 800-meter record, which Esther Goossens had held since 2001. She became the first Dutch woman to break 2 minutes for the distance indoors. She landed 5th on the global 800 meters rankings for 2026 from a standing start. Expert analysts immediately called it potentially the fastest 800 meters debut in the history of the event. The gap between her 1:59 debut and Olympic gold is real. Keely Hodgkinson is waiting. But every time the sport tells Bol she is not ready, she answers with a performance. The hurdles are gone. Betting against her has never paid off. The 800 meters has no idea what just walked into its lane.